Welcome to SSPTV Community News. I'm Lisa Sugart. Today we are here inside the beautiful Hazelton area Cyber Academy, which is located inside the Laurel Mall. And I'm very pleased to be joined once again by the Superintendent of Schools for the district, Dr. Brian Uplinger. Pleasure to see you, pleasure to talk to you. This is really a beautiful facility.
It did, it turned out wonderful. And again, thank you very much for having me. It's beautiful in here.
It really is, and we have a lot of topics that we'd like to touch on because there's so much happening. I guess let's start with the fact that the Hazelton Area School District is exploding. Enrollment continues to grow, not unlike some other districts as well that are having a similar situation. So where do we stand in regards to enrollment right now, and where do you think we're going?
Wow, so in 2017, when I first came to the district, we were large. So we were at about 11,500 students then. Now, 2024, we're around 13,300, give or take a few. We are getting large. We're increasing student enrollment daily. Students will come to us throughout the course of the school year. They'll come to us throughout the summer. We have some that'll end up moving here in May of, before the end of the school year, which we don't care. That's okay. The difficulty is finding that room, finding the space to help them out, to educate them appropriately. But yes, we're expanding. We're probably the fastest growing district in the Commonwealth.
And then with warehouses expected to be built,
right.
I know you're talking with other entities in the community, trying to plan for this. Can you really plan for this?
No. We really can't. Just the anticipation of how many jobs the factories are going to bring, the warehouses are going to bring, and by just thinking about maybe families that are coming to the area might have 2 or 3 children. Typically, they don't only have 1 anymore. So we're anticipating a large influx over the next few years. Back in when I first got here, PDE predicted that the district wouldn't hit 12,000 students until 2027. We've really taken a big chunk out of that and have exceeded that projection. So again, it's very difficult. You really can't predict how many students are going to come. It's typically off of birth numbers in the area, but students come to us later in life as well. We have all grade levels that come at any given time.
Exactly. So now, how difficult is it, I guess, for teachers as well when a student is coming in midway through the year or at the end of the year? Because how do you merge that in with the classroom when they haven't been there for the beginning?
That's very difficult as well. Just trying to find out where the student is and how quickly that child can assimilate to the classroom, become familiar with the teacher, him or herself, the classmates that child is with again. It's a new learning process for that child coming in. It's a new learning process for the teacher and for the other students that are already there. So it's difficult to get a child coming in later in the school year up to speed as quickly as we would like.
I would think, and I know you've said before, this facility right here has been a godsend because this is allowing you, if you had to find desks and space for the children that are in the Cyber Academy, what would you do? Because how many are there now?
Right, we have over 700 students that are in the Cyber Academy, and we wouldn't be able to fit all 700 of those students back in any of our buildings. We would have to add additional seats in classrooms that are already pushing some 30, 32, 35 students in a classroom. But hopefully, down the road we'll be able to build a building and possibly change the configuration of the district that will allow us for years to come some of that additional space that we really desperately need right now.
And what is the configuration change that you're going to look at now?
Moving away from the K-8 configuration that we currently have and going more to a more traditional K-5, and then have 3 different buildings that would be set up as middle schools, grades 6, 7, 8, and not necessarily touch the high school at this point, the high school configuration 9 through 12. There's a lot of different reasons why. Research and different discussions that we've had across the district and with other districts that have done something very similar, in my professional opinion, that would be the right move for the district.
Now, one possible game changer in all of this is funding from the state. So now several school districts went to court over this,
Right.
and now they're looking at changing it. And according to next year's Governor Shapiro's budget, funding for Hazleton area could possibly increase by $21 million.
Right.
I'm sure you have your fingers and toes crossed right now.
We certainly do. That could mean a multitude of different things for the district as well. Right now, we're roughly 490 out of 500 school districts on spending per pupil, which is difficult for an educator to say that we're proud of that, but we are proud of that because we're able to stretch a dollar pretty far, and we do a great job with educating all of the students that come to us, regardless of where they came from, regardless of their background. As long as you want the education, it's here for you to take it. We have students that have graduated with full rides to colleges. Over $6 million in scholarships were awarded last year. 145 students that were in the distinguished grad class that's the largest class that we've ever had with distinguished graduates. So we're doing something right, and we're very proud of that. But yes, that $21 million would certainly assist in propelling the district forward.
Wow, that would truly be a game changer. Are you confident that will happen?
I would say we're about 75% sure, but again, the budget isn't going to be passed until hopefully the end of June. Because this is such a change in the way that we are funded, school districts are funded, it may not get passed until maybe December. So that could throw a huge cog in everything that we're planning. We still have to budget. We still have to have ours in on time before June 30th. And it has to go in balanced. It has to be a balanced budget. We can't submit a budget anticipating this money might come through.
Just a brief wish list of some things that you'd like to do if you get that money.
Certainly invested in the students. Looking at different programming that we could bring in from the outside. I've always been a proponent of adding to and not taking from. So in the different districts that I've been in, we've always added programs. The same as here. We've always added something. We've never taken anything away from the students. So that would be priority number one. Looking at what can we add additional for the students to be ahead of that curve, to assist them in those that are coming to us that are not English speaking at the moment. How can we better assist them? Certainly, hiring bilingual teachers would be great. The difficulty in finding them is huge. They don't typically come to Hazleton to teach. They may stay in Florida or Texas, any places like that. But there may be a way to bring them here if we were able to increase some of the salaries. So that would be another option to possibly look at increasing teaching salaries and across the board to entice the bilingual professionals to come our way. Again, there's a multitude of different things. My head spins when I try to think of how we could really utilize that amount of money.
Would one of the possibilities be to possibly increase the size of the newcomer center where students who don't speak the language at all go first so that they can then be eased into the classroom? Certainly,
that would be something that we'd look at. We'd have to look at a different location. Right now, it's maxed out at the Early Learning Center. We have K-6 students that are there right now, over 200 students in that program. We would certainly, in that it's been a huge benefit to the students that have been able to participate in it thus far, and moving forward, it's going to just even get better.
And I saw where the district will now be the recipient of $1.8 million for extra security. So I see in this facility, as we walk in, you come through a metal detector. What changes would you like to make with that money?
Some of those dollars were earmarked for changing out those metal detectors and bringing in something a little more modern. and more efficient to get individuals through more quickly. So we would be purchasing 9 additional weapons detectors that would provide that efficiency. And we'd also look at utilizing the other dollars. That certainly doesn't add up to the 1.8, but the other dollars would be used in all of the schools for positive behavior programs that we have already in place to assist the students in making the right choices and providing them with positive reinforcement for their good behavior.
And getting back, I guess, to where we started before was talking about the building program. In a perfect world, and you could do what you want, how many buildings would you actually need?
That's another great question. We're looking at building a new facility, as we had spoken about before, maybe between a 1,200 student and an 1,800 student facility, which is rather large. If you think of the high school is built for 1,800 students. That's a pretty large building. So looking at that and trying to gauge how many students are coming in, if we were able to pie in the sky say we have the dollars for this, I think 2 at this point would be sufficient. We don't want to overbuild. We may get in I don't want to get into a situation where that's similar to Pocono Mountain, where they overbuilt and people left. I don't believe that will happen here. People aren't going to leave. They're here, they're here to stay. But we again don't want to overbuild, but I think 2 would certainly suffice. We just need a different location, another location, if we were able to do 2 at one time.
So what do you do in the meantime? Because at least 3 years for school?
Right. It takes about 3 years, 1 year for planning, and then the rest of the time for the build itself. We have to make do with what we have. I don't want to go back to trailers. We made the conscious effort of getting rid of the ones that we already had. They were in disarray, and to upgrade them, to update them, is just throwing good money after bad. So we certainly don't want to do that. Just looking at restructuring maybe a building in and of itself. Is there a way to eke out any more space for students? Do we turn different classrooms of different sizes into regular classrooms and move students out? And there's just a lot of different things that we'd have to worry about and think through before we could make it or have it come to fruition.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us. Dr. Uplinger will also be a guest on the Sam LaSance Show, so be sure to watch for that as well. And we look forward to talking with you when more plans are finalized.
Great, and I appreciate it, and I'm here when you need me.
Thank you so much.